Yes, 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 everybody. Russ of the West Ham Network. A very brisk, a very brisk, a very misty, cold Saturday morning as West Ham 3 o'clock kickoff. Oh, love a 3 o'clock kickoff as we play our second game in a week at home with Crystal Palace, the visitors. Not going to be an easy game. If anyone saw the stat attack, they're in a decent vein of form at the moment. And interesting enough, Russie's pointless stat of the day, we have never had a nil-nil draw with Crystal Palace in the Premier League. There we go. We average about 3 goals a game. So hopefully we'll see some goals today to warm us all up because we need it, my friends. We desperately need it. We need to be warmed up. It's bloody cold today. Not as cold as the other day. Not as cold as yesterday at Rush Green, where the under-21s um, back on winning ways. 4 consecutive wins on the bounce now, which is fantastic for them. And yeah, interesting times. Interesting times when it comes to the academy. Now we were very much down to the bare bones. I think it's fair to say. Um, it was well when you think we've got Georgia is the first team squad really, but you've got Patrick Kelly, you've got Callum Marshall, you've got Christian Heggie, you've got are those the only ones out on loan? Freddie Potts, again Freddie Potts is probably in the first team now, and then you've got Kalen, Lewis, and Ollie, both probably in the matchday squad today. Um, we were down to the bare bones. Howard asked who was my man of the match for yesterday. Preston Fearon in the midfield. It was first time I've properly seen him play for the 21s. Obviously, he's been playing for the 18s. He's recently signed his pro forms. He's a good player. He's a very good player. In the middle of the park, diminutive, good on the ball. What would I compare him to? Um, I don't know really because he's sort of this David Silva type player, maybe. Weight of passing, very controlled in the ball. I think he's going to be one we'll keep an eye on. And obviously, my boy Edris Golombekis, he played as well. Pardon me, he played as well. Played the full 90, which was great to see. Very composed. First half playing on the right hand side of the back three. Then Louisa went off at half time, played in the middle, and was very assured. The future's bright for the next that sort of showed me the next bunch of kids coming through. The likes of Ezra Mayers as well. I mean, he's still a young lad as well, so it's great to see. Good morning, Martin. Hope you're well. Usual suspect. Good afternoon to morning to you. 30. Who said it's 32 degrees in Thailand? SYG. Maltese Hammer, hope you're well. Nice to see you as well. Yes, we play. What we got here? Everyone's talking to each other. Lovely stuff. Keep warm, keep wrapped up. It's bloody freezing today. I've got me out over there. I haven't put it on yet. Although they say 70% of your heat goes out for your head, so I may well have to make amends and put it on a little bit later on. But I've got it because I think it's going to get even colder later on. So make sure if you are coming to the game tonight, wrap up warm this afternoon because I think it's going to be a bit chilly. But you'd have seen today, we put the stat attack out. Go and check that out. It was really, just to give you sort of all the latest stats, early team news in terms of Crystal Palace. Anton did a show, literally a quick breaking news segment today about Cornet looking like he's going to be going to Genoa. Bit warmer than here, I'd imagine, following the termination of his Southampton contract. So he'll be seeing the rest of the season out there. We're unaware whether it's an option or obligation, but we wish him all the best as well. It's a shame because I think we probably could have him on the bench today because we probably need a bit of pace, even Maxwell Cornet. To be fair, someone asked about Somerville. I don't think Somerville is going to be fit. I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's going to start. If he's going to be anywhere, he's going to be on the bench. The reason why is when I was at Rush Green, I walked around and I saw the hydration charts, and he had a dash by his name. So did everyone else who was injured. So if he is, it'll be a late fitness test, I'd imagine, and he'll I won't see. I mean, he could be. I mean, but I think the openness of Graham Potter's press conferences does allude to the fact that he's said he's probably touch and go, and maybe it's a step too far today. So I think that's what will happen. I don't think you'll see Maxwell Cornet and Maxwell Cornet. I don't think you'll see Cree Somerville in the starting 11. Maybe on the bench, but I'll be surprised. I think squad wise, we're pretty much in the same nick as we were for Tuesday. So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a relatively similar side to what we had on Tuesday. Not we know this is not his Potter ball. This is not his style. But with the likes of Fulkrug out, with the likes of Bowen out, with the likes of Somerville out, Todabo, some big names. Ariola, I think, will be back on the bench tonight. Or today, sorry, I keep saying tonight. I'm used to the evening games. So Ariola will be back on the bench, and I imagine for next week he may well start, because for me, Ariola is very much a Potter keeper. In terms of his distribution, in terms of him coming forward and acting almost as a sweeper keeper, and that's what he's good at. To all intents and purposes, that's not what Fabianski's MO is all about. Stefan, good morning to you. Morning, Russ. Cold morning. Looking forward to the game today. Yeah, I think we're all looking forward to it. There's a renewed sense of optimism amongst West Ham fan base, which is nice, and it bleeds through. You saw, for me, obviously with my association with the academy, you can see there was a bit of a buzz around Rush Green yesterday. The fact is, you've seen Ollie make a lot more appearances. He'll be in the squad today. So will Lewis, I'd imagine. So will Kalen as well. And that makes a huge deal, and that sort of pips everyone up. And you get a real sense of that. Everyone's sort of smiling and stuff. I mean, there was no surprise. The first team weren't playing well tail end of the season, tail end of the calendar year rather, and the academy weren't playing particularly well either. But under 21s, 4 wins in a row now, so very good. Mark asks, looking forward to the game. Same starting 11. I think possibly, maybe with the exception, I don't know. I don't be the same starting 11. I wouldn't be surprised to see Guido dropped and maybe sort of Soufal coming maybe on that right hand side. I don't know. But then do you change a winning formula as well? Yes, it wasn't pretty. We know this is not how Graham likes to play. We know this is not how Potter ball is. But needs must, and there's adaptability, and actually you play the hand you dealt with. So I fully respect Potter's decision to play a very slow midfield on Tuesday. It worked. We won the game. Whether we were fortunate with the goals, which you probably were, to be fair, but that came as a result of high pressing. And as long as the front three are pressing high, and there's not too much of a gap between them in the midfield, I'm okay with that. And then as we start going towards the end of January, things are starting to seem to be moving, signings wise, and then it'll be interesting to see when we get to the end, because I think there is a outside chance of Bowen may be back for next week. He has sort of had a pencil date of the 24th. Whether they might risk, maybe by then Somerville will be back in, whether they give Bowen another week just to make sure, because the worst thing you want is Bowen to come back too early and then get injured again and be out for longer periods of time. Stevens has got to give Potter time to see how we play. I totally agree. I think for me, this next couple of games are not an audition as such, but we need to just get through them. I think there's a longer prize, the sort of the longer term deal, the longer term prize will benefit from. But in the immediacy, it's getting these games out of the way and getting points on the board. 12 at the moment. I think we're still 12. Win today, you could go up, I think, a couple of places based on other results. But it's not just that; it's the feel-good factor internally with the fan base. And also for prospective transfers coming in, if they're seeing that West Ham are on the upturn a bit, they see West Ham playing some, scoring some goals, winning some games. The fans are on that journey. That encourages players, and they're not going to come into a side which is languishing at the bottom of the league. They're coming to a side which is very much on the up there. So for me, it's about making sure, brave man. For me, it's very much keeping this. It's like a snowball effect, really. The good feeling effect, and I think Potter made a point the other day about the high press, and they can't do it all the time because no one can high press all the time. But when we did, the crowd responded, and there was a period of time when in the first half, I think we really high pressed, and the crowd was like really up to it. They were clapping, and that's what we want. Mark says, "What's your view on the Canoe sub? Keeping fresh or playing poorly? Both." No, keep him fresh. Keep him fresh. I think Potter said afterwards that he'd played a hard 90 minutes on the Friday, and then he looked like he was running on empty a bit, which is fair enough. Caduce had a really good game, I thought, against Aston Villa. And again, we're sort of at the moment, because of the injuries and obviously the lack of signings coming in, we are playing, round pegs and square holes at the moment. So for me, it's and because of that, players are maybe exerting more energy than they've probably been used to all season as well. Under Lopetegui, there's definitely a lot more running, a lot more high press. So therefore, players are going to get tired. They're going to have to get up to that level of fitness, which they will do eventually. They're all very fit players, but if you play a certain way for 6 months, your body gets adjusted to that. So what I like though is when Potter did sub players, unlike Lopetegui, who would occasionally stand up and shake the player's hand, he did it with every player. Caduce shook his hand, put his arm around him, and I think he understood. He walked off like he was tired as well. Stephen says, I would forget this window and see who we need to replace in the summer and who we can bring in. Don't rush it. That's why I think, Stephen, we're going to be utilising the loan market more than anything. As I've been saying, this is the longest pre-season that any manager's had, really, in terms of Potter at the moment. He's got 6 months, or best part of 5 months now, to look at the squad, assess in the summer, get rid of who he wants to get rid of, bring in who he wants to bring in. And I think that's why we'll be bringing in players to cover injuries rather than necessarily going out and buying players who will form the first team squad in next year. But you never know. You never know if a good deal comes up. Obviously we'd be linked to the likes of Andre Silva, Evan Gisand, Evan Ferguson. There's players we'd be linked with. The majorities do seem to be loan spells, and I think actually January does tend to be more of a loan window rather than necessarily going out and spending a lot of money, unless you're languishing down the bottom, or you're Man City and you need to buy players. He's back. That was a quick lap. So yeah, Budgie, going to you. Big game today. 3 points is a must if I start a resurgence. Palace and no mugs, Budge, innit? Palace and no mugs. I think as long as we don't lose today, I think a draw would be okay. Obviously, we prefer the win, but a draw wouldn't be a disaster if it was a good win. Rondo says, and Tony, we've had an extra day's rest in Palace. Let's hope that makes a difference. We have, obviously, and also we played at home, where they played away at Leicester. Obviously, they beat Leicester 2-0 at the King Power. So yeah, the extra day could have helped us. And obviously, happy birthday to Budgie as well, as Howard said. Budgie's birthday yesterday. If you didn't checked him out, Old School Hammers on a Wednesday night with Kieran. Good show, fun chat as always. I think Luke was on there last week. Sebastian Schemmel was on there the week before. You don't know who's going to turn up. That's why you got to do it. And also, Irish Tommy back last night with the Late Show. I think Gatesy was on there. I think James and Me20 was on there as well. So again, you don't know who's going to turn up. So make sure you check those up. Frog in a well. Good morning to you. Hope you're well. He's got his little coffee emoji. I've got my Red Bull there. I'm going to demolish in a minute. Early start as always for Russie B. But yeah, a bounce in my step. It's worth saying, this the appointment of Potter. I think it seems to have reinvigorated the club internally. I obviously pre-match I go down to the press lounge and see a lot of the club ambassadors, like Tonka and Jimmy Walker and people like that, and I mean, Tonka. I've never seen Tonka so infused. He was bouncing. He was really excited, really happy with the Potter appointment, and really excited about what it could mean going forward for West Ham. So we've got to keep this good feeling. Ride this wave of good feeling because it's really important. Um, and I think it's great to see because we're feeling it as fans and we're seeing it amongst the ex-players as well. Scott asks, "Do you think we are playing without Kudus? As do you think the change of manager will keep Kudus?" Good question. Clearly, Potter values the impact of Kudus, um, and also he's been very quick to say that he needs to play players in the best positions, in their best positions. Now, when everyone is fit, for me, Kudus plays in the 10 role alongside a Paqueta. In that sort of Potter plays sort of four midfield, two CDMs type thing, and two well, not necessarily CDMs. I think Soler could do a job there alongside Alvarez, and then two sort of more attacking players. And for me, Kudus is one of them. There's no doubt, and that's why you need, for me, a target man, a big lad up front to knock it on for Kudus to run alongside him. So that for me is is why we need to get a big striker, not necessarily a smaller diminutive one. That's not how Potter plays, and I've said this to him blue in the face. When Potter's Brighton turned up here, who do we score against us? Glenn Murray, not necessarily any of their quick guys, but Glenn Murray, who was in his late 30s, not quick, but would always score. That to me is how Potter's set up. Ralph says, get rid of Kudus and bring in David and Gomez in. Well, according to reports, those are the two players that Potter wants to bring in. For me, both would be more likely to come in the summer because both are out of contracts in the summer as well. Angel Gomez, actually, Angel Gomez, he is someone. I was thinking about who Preston Fear reminds me in the academy. Angel Gomez is a great shout, but with a bit more about him, like in terms of possession. But he's that sort of. Gomez is not the biggest player isn't the biggest guy in the world, but he gets about. He's got a good engine. He's got energy. Could be a good shout. Homegrown as well, so he'd count for the homegrown quota. And David is a lethal striker. For me, he doesn't necessarily play in the way Potter likes to set up, but that's not saying that he could easily play. Potter often plays almost two up front. If anyone watched the Villa game, there was times in that game until obviously Falk got off injured, where it was Potter alongside, not Potter, it was Fulkrug alongside Kudus. So that's a possibility as well. That's a possibility. Happy Emirates, hope you're well. Kieran, good day to you, son. Hope you're well. Kieran and Budgie both in the house. Don't forget to check out Old School Hammers on a Wednesday night. I think I'm sure we'll go through some difficult, but happy to ride the snake. Rest in peace, Jim Morrison. Always pleased to support defenders. Totally agree. Everyone's talking to each other as well. Lovely to see. I'm always a fan of players who command more than one defender because that means there's always going to be an overlap somewhere. Happy Hammerette, can't believe how excited she is today. Wrap up, warm, happy Hammerette, please. What we've got here wasn't signing homegrown going to be one of Tim's main areas to look for. I don't think that's necessarily an area he's looking for, actually, because with Maximilian Kahn, Maritz Steinen, both sort of looking at stats internationally, our coaching, our recruitment, our scouting network has increased. So I don't think so specifically, because actually we can bring in, the fact is, through the pathway, bring you through. I mean, technically, we've got 3 homegrown players on the bench tonight, which would be Ollie Scars. If he's on the bench, he might start. Ollie Scars, Lewis Orford, and Caelan Casey. Before you've got the likes of Danny Ings, Cresswell. So we're all right for homegrowns, but I think for me, it's pathway. You know, if you're going to be bringing in players like, I don't know, Bakuzi, who's a midfielder we'd be linked with, then as long as you counterbalance that with ensuring the likes of George Earthy, Freddie Potts gets in the squad, then we're okay in terms of that homegrown quota. I know it's just cold weather. That's what I'm going to go in a minute, but it's more sultry, you know. The women like that. The women like that. Right, what else we got? Happy 21st budget. Yeah, exactly. Budget's birthday yesterday. I'm going to walk and talk because my bum's getting cold. I'll be honest. I'll be totally honest with you. My bum is getting cold, and I don't want to get piles. Don't want to get old Farmer Giles. That's the worst thing that we could get at the moment. Right, let's click all this out, and we're going to go mobile. I know you guys like it when we go mobile, so we go mobile. Got a new selfie stick, so it's not so wobbly, which is quite good. Anyway, let me whack that on like that and flick that on like that. And hopefully we are good to go. There we go. So peeps. Oh, my box has gone right up the arse. Anyway, peeps, let's chat. Let's get score predictions in the chat, please. What do we think of the score predictions? What's going to happen? Who's going to score? How many do? We would have hoped Russ, which is more than 2 weeks ago. Oh, sorry. You talking about something else. Why is going on there? Why is that bit bent? Anyway, right, what we got? Howard's gone 3-1 Maltese. Hammer's gone 2-1. Mike's gone for a 1-0. I'm going to go for a... I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet. 2-1. I'm going for 2-1. Same as Mark. Mark's gone for 2-1 as well. Bogey team is Palace, filling 2-1, but home for 2-1, but filling will be 2-2. Interesting fact about Palace versus West Ham. And if you watch Stat Attack, you'd know that. We have never had a 0-0 draw against Palace in the Premier League. Did you know that? And we average about 3.5 goals a game. So there. Never been in the bowl. It looks massive. Still can't see why we can't build a new ground and sell the rest. We'll never sell it because it's not ours. 2-2. Ralph's gone for Desmond. Steve's gone for 2-0. Kieran be happy with a 1-1 draw. Yeah, I mean, a draw is not going to be a disastrous result for me. I would prefer a win, of course. But, you know, Palace are no mugs against. They're very good away from home as well. I think Fulham were 8 games undefeated or something when we beat them. And I think Palace have got away from home, 9 undefeated or something like that. Got really good stats away from home. Freedom Sounds has gone for a 3-1. That's good to see. Nice to get some goals in. Who's going to score though? That's the thing. Paqueta, Paqueta could easily score another goal. He's 2-2. I think you've seen the resurgence of Lucas Paqueta under a Potter regime. I mean, completely different player to how he was beforehand. Just so much energy. It's lovely to see. And everyone else just seems to have so much energy. It's really invigorated everyone, off the pitch and on the pitch, and that's great to see. What are the chances of some of them starting? I think slim to none. I reckon Happy Amaret, to be honest. Can't see him starting, so that means he probably will start. But no, I think he's very much, if he's available, he'll be on the bench today. Because I think we need him for Villa on next games. Right, let's go for a few more. Scar's first go in the Premier League, he reckons. Chris Taps. I think it's going to be 1-1. Should use the rest of the season to stabilise. I totally agree. I think he will do. I could see Ings scoring a brace. What cunning plan are we going to see from Mr. Potter? Mr. Potter, our new celebrity. Potter versus Kolasinac would be fascinating. Good to see Paqueta back in form. Do you think if he isn't found guilty, he'll be sold, or can he? Well, I think he could be convinced to stay, to be honest. However, um, with the thing going now to the summer, unless it's early summer, we're going to go into the pre-season, aren't we? So then I'll be surprised if who would maybe City would come in from then. Um, Arguably, they're already buying players now for next season. Caviasso and Victor Ruiz and players like that. They might not need Paqueta by the time the thing comes up, and I can't see where he'd really fit in other clubs, to be honest. But yeah, Happy Emirates got a lucky knickers. Sorry, I mean lucky socks. It's not she don't win knickers. There we go. You can thank me later. We're win of a win. I think we go to Aston Villa next week. It'd be a hard game. It would be, and obviously we played them, last week in the cup. Very much Jekyll and Hyde game really for West Ham, but I think we go there with increased optimism and the potential of a Jarrod Bowen in the matchday squad potentially for the Villa game. That was the date that they've penciled in, but I think it might be too early for me. Ian says, nice to know we have a manager willing and capable to making game changes. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, J-Lo did make changes, but they seemed a bit haphazard, in all honesty. They seemed a bit, I couldn't see any method to the madness. But I agree, it's nice to see a manager or a head coach, but also take direction. We're led to believe that one of the decisions made in the first half of that game was by Bruno, and he took that. So yeah. Mike says just the lucky socks now house. Yeah, it's Freedom Sounds. It's the Aaron Wan-Bissaka derby. It's the Michael Hughes derby. It's the Alan Pardew derby. It's the James Tompkins derby. And actually, I think James is at the is the X's event today. I think with only socks on will be a little bit chilly today. I totally agree, and you might not get allowed in as well. So there's children here and stuff. The players will soon learn to press and performance. Howard has his lucky nipple tassels on today, which is great to see. I'm glad to see. How did this start? Oh, it started with Happy Emirates and the socks, wasn't it? Indeed. Right. As I said, stay tuned. We'll have the starting 11 show a little bit later on as well. Did I see a sign saying concession lane? Anything in the park? I don't know. Yeah, starting 11 show. Tricky one today, I think, starting 11. Because we don't know 100% about Somerville. I think he's I don't think he's going to be in the side, in all honesty. And to be fair, I think we'll see a similar side to how we started against Fulham. But then again, we don't know at the moment, do we? We're still finding our feet as fans with Potter at the moment, and so we know he hasn't got the players to play his system just yet, because injuries. As I said, I genuinely believe a Nicholas Füllkrug would have shined under Potterable, because he's the perfect foil for the way Graham likes to play, or the way Graham traditionally has played. But there's nothing to do about that. Unfortunately, we move on, and so I think there's adaptability. Again, and for me, I want to see a good performance. I want to see pressing. I want to see composure on the ball. I want to see some nice triangle play, some nice give and goes, which we have been seeing the last little game and a half. I say this game and a half because I think the second half of Villa, we sort of resorted back to type, which was explainable because it was his first, you only have one training session, and sometimes in adversity you quickly, just go back to what you know. Happy Emirates, the difference in Potter in knowing that if we go behind Potter, he's going to come back. Yeah, yeah. Um, Fairly limited with who we can pick. I think says Sean. Yeah, he is. We've got. It's a similar story to the under 21s really yesterday. They really had a scratch side out. It's not scratch side out. It's not fair. But obviously, three of their guys who would have started the 21s, they're now in the first team squad, which is right. And obviously, we've got players out on loan as well. Which for me gives opportunities for players in the 18s to step up, and I thought they did really well yesterday. And then obviously that gives opportunities to the guys in the 16s to step up to the 18s. So that's the way it should be. The same as here, it gives people opportunity who might not necessarily, you got to like Guerra or Rodriguez, for example. He was very much on the scrap heap, looking to go. Looking to go back to, Betis or La Liga. I haven't seen any news about that since Potter's come back. Potter's come in. So, very much I think he's a very Potter type player. He can, if he plays in the right position and does the right stuff, then it works. Same as Carlos Soler. I really think Carlos Soler will really improve as well. Rouse says, who are your best three players last night? Preston Fearon. Keep an eye on that name. You'll be seeing a lot more of him, particularly on the Academy show. Edris Golombekis, Formidable. And who else? Ezra Mayers. Ezra Mayers played really well, I thought. A lot of them played well. Judy Robinson played all right. He played a good game. But yeah. Steve Potts has said the Academy are buzzing. Yeah, they are. They are. It's pretty obvious, really. But, not just that, but seeing the likes of, I'd imagine we'll have 3 Academy players on the bench today. The likelihood of Lewis Orford coming on, not really, I think. The likelihood of Kalen coming on, not really, but you never know. Frogging all under 21s. Under 21s were passing well against that. They do, mate. I mean, they play good football. The under 21s do play good football. Some nice passing. I think because you've got, particularly in the second half, because you've got a centre half there in the middle of Edris Golombekis, whereas someone like Luis Al, for me, he's more of a blocker. And actually, it was right because, Sunderland had a lad playing for them up front in the first half called Ahmed Abdullahi. And he is someone that Sunderland first team bought. And he's been injured, so it was his first game. So actually having someone like Luis Al in there, a big lad against him, he was a big lad, worked. And then second half, Luis Al got injured and Ahmed got injured, was knackered as well. And so it made sense to make substitution. And then you see someone like Edris come in, and Edris, I think, is just so good on the ball. It just sets it up. If you've got a ball playing centre half and a ball playing goalkeeper, Finn Herrick's a really good goalkeeper, I think, in terms of the way he plays. But we'll talk about more of the Academy show. I've got some really nice, I think there's definitely a buzz around the club, buzz around the Academy as well. Anyway, guys, don't forget, Eddie Ali, Emeka Eddie Ali played well. Really tried hard as well. Really tried hard. Good player. He's got good feet as well. I thought Cam Swire was a little bit, wasteful in possession. I thought Josh Ajala got bullied quite a lot, but you gave him a chance. He scored. People say, "Oh, we should put Josh in his first team." No way. He'd get eaten up alive. He needs to bulk up a lot more. He's far too. He was getting bullied. He wasn't holding the ball well, but he is a clinical striker. There's a player there. So if we get his physicality up a bit, I think we've got a very good striker on our hands there. Anyway, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Stay warm. Stay humble. Stay warm for coming here. I've got me out. I'm going to put me out on now as well. And I'll see you guys soon. Much love. Bye-bye.